All right. Let's start off by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha Kodash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is The Stage is Being Set. And pretty much this lesson came through the inspiration of a lesson I was watching earlier that you see on your screen right now. And I was watching it, but a lot of it was muted, so I wasn't able to really watch the whole thing because I guess the brother's been having problems with that off and on. But they did play some of it, and the title that he used, that the way of the kings of the East might be prepared, I thought that actually came from 2nd Ezra 15, but it actually comes from Revelation 16. And excellent title, like I said, I was only able to see some of it because a majority of his that's why I didn't put it in the description box, because the majority of his lesson was, you can't hear anything except for, some of this, that some of these clips that are playing. So I wanted to get into that too, because this is where we at in prophecy. I'm joined here by the brother Shakya from the Indianapolis camp. Say shalom, bro.
Shalom.
All right, so we want to get into that because this is definitely the time, where prophecies are being fulfilled left and right. Now, one thing to take away from this whole situation is that World War III is not going to start and end before the MOTB is fully implemented, and that's one key prophecy that has to be fully fulfilled before the end can actually come, because all things must be fulfilled, and then the end shall come. But at the same time, while we're waiting, there's also things that are happening worldwide, whether it's geopolitically, whether it's militarily, whether it's financially, happening worldwide. Also these so-called natural and unnatural disasters. A lot of stuff going on in the news that's ushering in, the end. This trucker strike and this recent storm. And the Nippler, him being on trial and all that. And from what we understand with this storm, some are saying that it was man-made because it doesn't rain like that or flood like that up in the mountainous regions that were flooded out. There's reports that are coming out saying that the farmers didn't want to sell the land because they found that there was a big reserve of lithium and quartz in that area, the largest in the world for dealing with the lithium, and they did not want to sell. So next thing Esau does, he comes in there, he causes some type of disaster in a lot of scenarios which we've seen in the past, and then they'll come in there and label the land, a natural disaster, and then they could come in there and get everybody out and then take over everything. So we're just seeing how the story unfolds. There's some people. There's this one individual that was saying how they were trying to save some of those people down there in North Carolina. He's ex-military. And he just needs helicopters to get up in there to help the people, but they won't give him the helicopters. And he's spoken to other military bases where he has friends still in the military actively, and he asking them why they can't deploy to go help these people. They say because they're still waiting for the orders. They can't move until they get the orders. So it's something going on that is very suspicious, but that's how Esau does it. Anyways, we're going to get into Revelation 16. If you don't mind, if you want to read it, Revelation chapter 16, and you can start at the main point is in the 12th verse. We're going to read that and break it down and then get into the lesson from there.
Start at 12.
Yeah.
Revelation 16 and verse 12. And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great rivers Euphrates, and the waters thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared.
Right. So the great river Euphrates, which is still called Euphrates to this very day, you go back to the Garden of Eden, you go back to the Euphrates River, It's still called Euphrates River. There were four major bodies of water, and one is still called Euphrates to this very day because the Euphrates River would play an important part, an important role in end time prophecy. Matter of fact, before we read on anymore, we're going to read that again. Go to Revelation chapter 9. I believe it's Revelation 9 and 13.
Revelations 9 and 13. And the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar, which is before Yahweh Shema Shah, saying to the sixth angel, which had the trumpet, loose the four angels which are bound in great river Euphrates.
Right, loose those four angels. Why? Because the angels are there holding back the winds of the destruction. And once those angels move back, that's going to be one of the final prophecies prior to Yahweh Shai getting here. That's going to fully be fulfilled. And that's World War III, or the War of Armageddon. Those of you that don't know, the word Armageddon is a Hebrew word, which goes back to the word Harmagad, which means mountain of the troops. Har is a mountain or hill. Gad is where you get the tribe of Gad, which means troop, and the one at the end makes it plural. So Harmagad, mountain of the troops, because that's the place over there and what they call the Middle East, where all of these armies, militaries are being gathered together for that last and final war. So the Euphrates River plays a very important part in prophecy, end time prophecy. So read the next verse. Verse 15.
16.
15. Revelation 9 and 15.
Revelations 9 and 15. And the four angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour, and a day, and a month, and a year, for to slay the third part of men.
Right, and if you don't know, the third part of men, the earth is broken up into three classifications of men: the sons of God, or the Israelites; the sons of men, which are the other nations; and the sons of the wicked, which are the Edomites. So the Edomites right now are in control of the world. They're the ones that are in power. The Lord said when he came back, that Esau would be ruling, and Yahushua is coming back to visit the Edomites that are ruling. So when these angels are loosed, they're going to destroy the third part of men, meaning they're going to destroy the kingdom or the last rulership of the people that are known as the children of the wicked, which is the third part of men. A third part of or should I say, the third classification of man on the planet would be the lowest of the low, or the base of men, which are the Edomites, which are the sons of the wicked. So that's what the Lord is coming to do. Now, let's go back to Revelation 6, read that again. 16 and 12, and read that again.
Revelation 16 and 12. And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great rivers Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the king of the east might be prepared.
Right, so the kings of the east right now are being prepared. All right, so go from there to the Apocrypha, 2 Ezra 15. So right now what we're seeing is all of these major pawns, for lack of better words, being placed, major players being placed over there in the Middle East. So the Lord is setting up even more and more now the battle strategy, so to speak, for this up and coming war, which is the war to end all wars, World War III. And you have all of these major players over there, and things are stirring up more and more to where Israel is attacking, Iran, and Iran is attacking Israel, and it's a back and forth, and then they're provoking the Persians, which are the Iranians, and they're also provoking Russia, because they know that they have America and NATO. NATO to back them up. You see, so that's why they're poking and prodding at Iran, because they want that land, they want the resources there, and that's what these devils have been doing since they got into power, just taking whatever they want, but they don't understand that this very last provocation that you push is going to cause a domino effect to bring your system, your society down. So let's go from there to 2 Ezra chapter 15, and you can start at the 28th verse.
2 Ezra 15 and 28.
Oh, matter of fact, Salaki, before you read that, go to Joel 3 and 9. And read that first, and then we can,
Joel chapter 3 and verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war.
Right, so the nations are being prepared for war. Because one thing the Lord said that when he came back, his controversy or his beef is going to be with the kings of the earth and with their armies. That's what he's coming to do. He's coming to take down the ruling power structure and the military of the ruling, so-called ruling elite of this society. That's what he's coming to bring down. Go ahead.
Prepare war.
Prepare war. And that's what's happening right now. The war is being stirred up. Go ahead.
Wake up the mighty men.
Wake up the mighty men. Why? Because at one time they were dormant. They weren't fighting. Now the Lord is stirring them up to get ready for this final battle. Go ahead.
Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up.
Mm-hmm.
Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong.
Right. So the plowshares and pruning hooks are a representation of agricultural instruments. So the Lord is saying, take the money that you will invest in building up your crops and building up your agriculture and use it for military weapons to protect yourself from what's coming. And that's why it says, let the weak say, I am strong. Why? Because a lot of these countries at one time, once America dropped the atomic bomb, and I forget what the other type of bomb was, on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, right? That prompted the world to rethink their strategy militarily. Because when Russia found out and saw that, they started investing time, money, effort, research into building a bomb so that they can protect themselves from America, because they saw that great power that they had. And that's why it says it causes, fire to come down in the sight of the beast. So they caused that fire to come down from the heavens, and it shook these nations. But now a lot of these nations either have nuclear technology or nuclear missiles, or they are in league or joined together with a nation that has them. So America can't puff at these different nations like they used to at one time. See, that's why when they destroyed, the scriptures say that, how is the hammer of the whole earth broken? Go ahead.
It says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord.
Right, so all of these military men are being gathered together in what's known as Jehoshaphat, which is the Valley of Decision. The name Yahweh Shaphat, or Jehoshaphat, is Yahweh Shaphat, which means the Most High's judgment. Yahweh is the Heavenly Father's name. Shaphat means judgment. So Yahweh's judgment. So that's another name for Armageddon, right? And then it says, thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. That's dealing with the angels. Because once this world war is well on its way, after they've pushed the MOTB, which is the micro C-hip, upon the entire planet, upon the entire world, then when these nations are fully engaged in battle, then Yahweh and the angels are going to come, and then they're going to turn their attention from fighting each other to trying to fight against Yahweh and the angels, and they're going to get smashed. They're going to turn into trash. So now let's go from there, because you can read more of this. This is matter of fact, you know what? Keep on reading, Salakim, and it's a lot more here.
Verse 12, let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat.
Right, let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. Go ahead.
For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about.
And that's how the Lord's going to bring this final judgment upon Esau and the nations. Go ahead.
Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe.
Right. So a sickle is something that you use once your crops are fully grown and you're coming through to cut down the crops. So the harvest being ripe is a metaphor for it's time for these nations to start doing battle, because it's ripe. Just like a fruit, when a fruit is ripe, then it's ready to be picked or plucked and eaten. So it's time for these nations to get together and fight this battle and this war. Go ahead.
It says, "Come, get you down, for the press is full, the fats overflow."
Right. The press is full and the fats overflow because you would, you would gather all of this crop, all of this harvest that you had, and you would put them into crates and put them into different in your barns or whatever. So there's no more room, pretty much, for anything else but to go to war because it's right now. It's a right opportunity for these nations to come and fight this battle. Because as I always say, prophecy is predicated upon time. Every prophecy had a time period where it would be fulfilled. It would lay dormant, it would be spoken, it would be the vision would be shown to the prophet, it would be spoken by the prophet, but then it would lay dormant until the time when that particular prophecy would actually come to pass. And that's what we see it now. Every time a prophecy comes to the tipping point, so to speak, and time passes, then that prophecy starts to speak. That's why it says, "At the end it shall speak and not lie," to signify or signal us that we're in the end times, the very end times. Go ahead. And if you have any, precepts you want to bring out, feel free. Go ahead.
It says, "For their wickedness is great."
Yeah, for their wickedness is great. Go ahead.
Multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision.
Right. So the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. And when you read a lot of these prophecies, it's the same thing, spoken of over and over again, but just using different symbolisms and allegories and things of that nature. Because when we go to Second Ezra, right? Let's go to Second Ezra, chapter 28. I'm sorry, chapter 15, verse 28. This is pretty much dealing with a sect of these heathens fighting, this final battle, this final war, Armageddon, or the Valley of Jehoshaphat, the Valley of Decision. Go ahead.
Second Ezra 15:28. "Behold, an horrible vision, and the appearance thereof from the east."
Right, because the east over there, in what's called the Middle East, that's where all these things are happening. Because pursuant to Joel, the second chapter, it speaks about the northern army, which is America, being brought to a land barren and desolate. And that land that's barren and desolate is over there in Saudi Arabia, Iran, Iraq, and that region over there. And that's where these armies are being gathered together to fight. Go ahead.
It says, "Where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots."
Right, and that's dealing what with the Ishmaelites, and the when you go back and you research, I forget what year that was. I think that was the late 1800s into the early 1900s. You had Albert Pike, which was a Freemason, and you had Giuseppe Mazzini, which between the two of them, they actually put together a plan, a 3 world war plan. And after World War One, two, and three, after the Third World War, then they will have pretty much the world. Because what these devils are doing, right, the so-called Illuminati, the international banking families, is that they're making the people of the earth be so chaotic and in such turmoil, and be at their wits' end, that they will be willing to exchange their liberties for world peace. And that's what they're doing. So that's what World War III is about. That's what the nuclear scare is all about. That they plan on using the missiles, not to actually use them, but to scare the people enough to where they can agree to give up their liberties in order to receive world peace. To protect them from this total devastation. You had the externalization of the hierarchy, which was written, I believe that was E.N. Rand or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. I can't think of the name right now. I believe that was her name. And pretty much in that book, from what I've heard, I never read the book myself, but from what I've heard, many of these different individuals speak about is that the missiles or the nuclear missiles were pretty much set up as a scare tactic, not to really be used. But what they don't understand is that the Most High gave them the technology to build these missiles, to also bring judgment upon them. See? Do you want to say something? Bring it up.
It's Isaiah 13 and verse 4. The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord of hosts mustered the hosts of the battle.
Would you like to speak on that? Okay. So it says the noise of a multitude in the mountains. That's dealing with these armies. And eventually is the other army of the Lord is going to be these nuclear missiles. It says, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of kingdoms of nations gathered together, right? Because when you have a whole bunch of, armies gathered together, you hear the yelling and and the screaming and and the adrenaline going. So it's like a chaos. It's chaotic. That's what the tumult is. It's very chaotic. That's why it says every battle of the warriors with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. But this particular battle that's coming is going to be with fire. And what is that fire? The nuclear fire, which the scriptures identify America as the lake of fire. And that's going to be the final destruction, because that's the second death, as the scriptures call it. Because the first death was the flood. The second death will be by fire. All right. It says, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms and nations gathered together. The Lord Yahweh Bashem El Shai of hosts mustereth the host of the battle. The Lord is gathering all these armies over there. And also he's gathering them with their weaponry to use against each other, because those missiles are really the Most High's missiles. He said that the Lord's, how does it go in Jeremiah, either 50 or 51?
He says it in the next verse too.
Okay, go ahead.
Verse 5, they come from a far country, from the end of the heaven, even the Lord, and the weapons of his indignation.
Beautiful.
To destroy the whole land.
Right. So the weapons of the Lord's indignation are what? The nuclear missiles. To do what? To destroy the whole land. Now, ancient Babylon was not, ancient Babylon, Neo-Babylonian Empire was not destroyed completely. It was taken over by the Medo-Persian Empire. So what whole land is it speaking about it destroying? It's talking about America, Babylon the Great, the daughter of Babylon. That's what's going to be totally annihilated. So this prophecy has not been fulfilled yet. This is a prophecy that's going to be fulfilled in these times now. Once they get the technology of the MOTB, which is the micro CHIP, fully implemented around the world. And you've been having many, the scriptures say that they are wearied in the multitude of their counsels. You have had many meetings and different, conferences, of these world banks and world economic so-called experts getting together with the WEF, to hammer out policies for the future. And they're telling people what the future is going to bring. The future is going to bring a digital currency system. You see? And that's why everything is moving digital. Come on in. Come on in. The water's fine. Tell the others, come on in. The water's fine. And then everything is moving in that direction. Why? Because that is to fulfill prophecy. It's not by chance. It's not by choice. It's by prophecy. And that's one thing that these devils, cannot get away from, and that is prophecy. Bottom line, So now let's go back to let's go to 2nd Ezra 15 and read 29 again.
2nd Ezra 15 and 29.
Oh, and that's what I was speaking about, because it speaks about the dragons of Arabia. And Albert Pike and Giuseppe Mazzini got together. They call it the Pike Mazzini blueprint. You can find that in the Satan's Angels Exposed by Salem Kerbin. And in that book, it tells you that they hammered out a policy for 3 world wars. and they explained what the First World War was going to be about. They explained what the Second World War was going to be about, and they explained that the Third World War was going to be the Ishmaelites, or so-called Arabs, fighting against the small hats. You know, and that's true to prophecy. Now, whether they knew about that ahead of time when they were reading it in the scriptures or not, their plan was to get the small hats to fight against Ishmael and vice versa, and we see that happening right now. Because these nations that Israel is messing with are what? They're Muslim nations, whether they're all Ishmaelites or not. The one thing they have in common is that Islam. You see? So this is what we're reading. So it says, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots. Go ahead.
And the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon the earth,
that
all they which hear them may fear and tremble.
Right, because eventually that's going to cause panic. You know, when you see all this, all this disaster, when the people that were witnessing, these bombings, that was a lot, but it wasn't nothing compared to what's coming. Go ahead.
Verse 30. Also the Carmanians.
So who are the Carmanians? The Carmanians are the Iranians. When you type in, let me let this thing, because this thing is stupid. All right. Oops, what the hell happened? Satan be gone. I knew it was going to do that stupid shit. I don't know why it does that. Who are the modern day Carmanians? It should tell you that it's the Persians. Right there. Carmanian, Old Persian, which modern day Iranians. Because the Iranians today were called Iranian back in 1935 when they changed the name of Persia, which is the actual name of that region. They changed it to Iran or Iranian. Right. It says the Carmanians inhabited a region that is now part of modern-day Iran, specifically within the province of Kerman. So what's going on right now? You have these small hats poking at these, Iranians or Carmanians, fucking with them. So read that again. It's okay. Verse 30.
Second Ezra 15 and verse 30. Also the Carmanians, raging in wrath, shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians.
Right. So you're going to have these Ishmaelites, the Iranians, and these different, Muslim countries coming together fighting against America. America is known as Assyria, is known as Babylon, is known as spiritually known as Egypt and Sodom, so on and so forth. And they're going to get busy on these devils because the Lord is going to put the spirit on them, and the spirit is already on. The Lord already got the spirit on them. Go ahead.
It says, and then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature.
Right. It says, and then shall the dragons, which are the Ishmaelites, are going to have the upper hand, remembering their nature. What is their nature? That they're wild. Right. It tells us in Genesis that Ishmael, he's going to be a wild man. His hands are going to be against, every man, and every man's hands going to be against him. So it's a constant, it's a constant fight and battle, between, Ishmael and pretty much everybody, because Ishmael he's just a wild man. That's just their nature. They don't give a shit. They'll fight anybody.
Yeah, they'll die fighting.
That's it. Tell them, you want to speak on it?
Yeah.
Speak on it, son.
Yeah, man. Because I was over there, and truly, that was, like those people. Like when I got the understanding of that, prophecy, man, it really made sense to me because those people will. I mean, they'll literally die fighting you. You know, they'll die for their cause.
Yep. They're devout in what they believe in.
Yep.
Remember were you saying that yesterday?
Yep.
So the people are very devout.
Yep. Praying to a no God.
Right. But they're devout to that no God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Dig it. All right, so let's go, Shakir.
It says,
And by the way, those of you that don't know, that was Elder D-Mash that just joined us.
Shalom.
Go ahead.
and then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature, and if they shall turn themselves, conspiring together in great power to persecute them.
Yeah, because you're gonna have a union of these individuals that all pretty much worship the same religion. Because although the Iranians are really Elamites, and the so-called Arabians are really Ishmaelites, and then some of them so-called Arabians are Ottoman Turks, which are Edomites that embrace the religion of Islam. They're all going to come together in unity, for the cause of their devotion to their religion, and also because of the main common enemy, the small hats that keep fucking with everybody over there. They're gonna let loose. Go ahead.
It says, then these shall be troubled bled and keep silence through their power and shall flee.
Yep.
And from the land of the Assyrians shall the enemy besiege them and consume some of them, and then the host shall be feared, and the dread strife among their kings.
Mm-hmm. There's going to be a lot of infighting. There's going to be, a lot of man. It's going to get bad. It's going to get really bad out here. And these nations, man, they, because they do have differences among them, but they're going to set their differences aside to fight the common enemy. They know who that common enemy is. It's Amalek. And they've been just waiting. They've been waiting for these devils to just step over that line, to cross that line. And they did, apparently. And the last time that the Iranians shot stuff, they just pretty much, what's that word I'm looking for? What's that term when you hit somebody, but they can see it coming? I forget. There's a term that they call, but they did that on purpose, to let them know, look, we can get you at any time. Because the last time they shot a bunch of missiles, they got shot down by the Iron Dome and then by the missile defense system that Amalek has. But this time a lot more got through. And then the first round, from what I understand, the first round of missiles that were shot, I think that was early this year or last year, I forget when it was. That was all of their trash, their garbage, just the junk missiles and stuff. And they caught hell over there trying to shoot them all down, because that shit costs money to defend.
Yeah. But this time they shot a few hypersonic missiles. They showed the certain missiles that were coming in slow to deplete the defense system, and then they showed those missiles that came in fast and hit the target that they were aiming for.
Sweet.
All of the set targets that they were aiming for got touched. And you better believe that did something to the pride of these goddamn small hats.
Yep.
That pride got touched. But this is going to escalate into more and more conflict, though.
Yeah.
Because that's a proud nation of demons, man.
Oh yeah, pride of their heart has deceived thee.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Let's go.
It says, verse 34, behold, clouds from the east and from the north unto the south, and they are very horrible to look upon, full of wrath and storm.
Right. This is dealing with their militaries, their jets, helicopters, missiles. It's going to talk about it. Go ahead.
They shall smite one upon another, and they shall smite down a great multitude of stars upon the earth.
Right. A lot of those missiles, they're going to shoot down aircraft, jets, drones, helicopters. Go ahead.
Even their own star, and blood shall be from sword unto the belly.
A lot of deaths.
And dung of men unto the camel's hoof.
Yeah, hoof. Yep.
Hoof.
So that's dung. In other words, there's going to be a lot of dead bodies. Because remember, one of the very first things that the so-called international banking family's job is going to be, one group of them is going to go around with a banner and saying there's dead bodies here. Another one's going to come after them, dig holes, and then bury those dead bodies. There's going to be a lot of dead bodies. That's why it says in that same chapter in Ezekiel, it says that there's going to be continual employment. There's going to be a lot of dead bodies to bury. And that's going to be their very first job as slaves. Go ahead.
Verse 37, and there shall be great fearfulness and trembling upon earth.
Yeah, because you're going to have all of this chaos and destruction. You better believe that when you had World War I and World War II, people were frightened, nervous. They were trying to find a place where they could hide, especially where the wars were being fought over there in Europe. There were bombs being dropped. People were trying to get the hell out of Dodge. So just imagine now with the military and the type of defenses and ammunition and weapons that they have today, how much worse it's going to be. Go ahead.
It says, and then shall there come great storms from the south.
Yeah, go ahead.
And then shall there come great storms from the south and from the north and another from the west.
Yeah, because it's going to be all centered where? In that location. You're going to have armies from the north. You're going to have armies from the south. You're going to have armies from the east and west coming there, bringing their militaries, bringing their weaponry, getting ready to do business. Go ahead.
And strong wind shall arise from the east and shall open it, and the cloud which he raised up in wrath, and the stars stirred to cause fear toward the east and west wind shall be destroyed.
Go ahead.
The great and mighty cloud shall be puffed up full of wrath, and the star that they may make all the earth afraid, and them that dwell therein, and they shall pour out over every high and eminent place and horrible star.
Right, destruction. Go ahead.
Fire and hail, flying swords.
See, fire and hail and flying swords. What do you think those flying swords are? Those are the missiles. Fire and hail and flying swords. Go ahead.
And many waters, that all fields may be full of all rivers with the abundance of great waters.
Yeah, because it's going to be total devastation. Go ahead.
And they shall break down the cities and walls, mountains and hills, trees of the wood, and grass of the meadows, and their corn.
Yeah, it's going to be total devastation. Go ahead.
And they shall go steadfastly unto Babylon and make her afraid.
Right. So Assyria and Babylon represent the same thing, America. So there's going to be, we don't know exactly how they're going to do it, but there's going to be something where you're going to have something that's going to happen here, because this is going to be the last place that gets touched. Now, as of recently, within the last, 6 months or so, Elder Pastor had made a mention of the scripture in Revelation where it spoke about the 10th part of the city fell. So it's very possible that they can, detonate something here in America to cause a total devastation. Whether it's a pocket nuke or whether it's something, something that they set off here and get people really, like the scripture says, shall the trumpet be blown in the city and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city and the Lord have not done it? So we don't know exactly how it's going to go down, but we know that, part of America may be touched before the full devastation comes.
Russia has those submarines that can take out a whole coastline. Hey, like the times we're living in are very serious. They have those submarines that they boast that can take a whole coastal region out. You know, so we don't know if that's going to happen. We don't know if somebody that's already in the country is going to detonate something.
Yeah.
We don't know if they're going to shoot one of those hypersonic missiles and hit something inland. We don't know exactly how it's going to happen. That's why we got to stay prayed up and pray that the Lord protect you every day, man.
Yeah, remember now the borders are wide open.
Yep.
So you don't know what's coming in here. Mm-mm. And by the time they stop it, it's going to be too late because you already got millions of people that have already crossed the borders, whether it was from the south or from the north.
Yep. Hey, I don't know if you remember a few years back, Russia started creating those cargo, those diesel truck nukes. It looked like a regular semi truck, but the back of the semi truck will stand up and it'll be a silo. And if they can sneak people in here on those semi trucks, they can sneak a nuke in here.
Oh yeah.
But the back of the semi truck it stands up on hydraulics and it sits to the ground and it can shoot a pocket nuke out. It can shoot a nuclear weapon.
Mm. Yeah, man. So the possibilities are endless.
Mm-hmm.
So there, bro. Just read to the 45th verse.
It says, verse 44, they shall come to her and besiege her, the star and all wrath shall they pour out upon her.
Right, that's dealing with the destruction. Go ahead.
Then shall the dust and smoke go up unto the heaven, and all they that be about her shall bewail her.
Right, because that goes with Revelation chapter 18. Where it says that the merchants are going to bewail her because they're not going to be able to make any more money. Go ahead.
And they that remain under her shall do service unto them that have put her in fear.
Yeah, so we're going to see how exactly it takes place, but we know that we're at that point, at the tipping point of prophecy. And that's why you have all this stuff going on out there in the Middle East, especially key players, Russia, Iran, and now Turkey. Turkey is a major player also in end time prophecy because Turkey is a part of NATO, but it's also, breaking off and having Russia to be his bodyguard. That's prophecy. Because Turkey represents Togarmah and Gomer and all of that. Meshech, Tubal. When you look at a map, the different places on the map that Russia would be protecting, which is our God, is Turkey. Mm-hmm. One of the major players. So as prophecies are being fulfilled as we speak.
Yep.
Yes, sir. So anybody got anything else they want to add? Any scriptures?
I was holding this in Job 20.
Let's go.
This is Job 20, and I'm gonna start at verse 22. It says, "In the fullness, you got that?
Yep, I got it.
In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits."
You got it.
It says, "Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him." So we're seeing this whole what the apostle just named, this whole shift with Turkey, just put in a lot of other nations' mind that are allies with America that, hey, look, if they left, we can leave too, we can jump ship too. That could start all kind of secret alliances. Hey, that could put the BRICS nations, that could put a lot of these other nations in their playing field. They could tell them, look, hey, still act like you're their friends and get intel for us. And that's how we see all these nations that are looking to join the BRICS nations. The BRICS nations can use them for, as an initiation. Hey, get information from them at the next meeting and let us know what their plans are. So now it's creating an environment where the trust levels are low. So the Lord is really, pushing things forward, man. It says, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. It says, every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. It says, when he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. Because, we don't know exactly how it's going to happen, but we don't know if we're past the peace point. We don't know exactly where it's at. This devil is probably going to try to do something, make some type of incentive to make the world think that we're okay. And Jake probably going to ride off and be like, okay, well, let's go on. Let's get back to normal, quote unquote.
Yeah, okay.
And then it's going to get caught out there, man, in his device.
That's
Verse 24, it says, he shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. A hand drawn in hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished.
That's right.
So if you have if you got ties, if you believe in this man more than you believe in Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, you're gonna receive of his plagues.
Yes, sir.
You're gonna receive of his judgments.
That's right.
I could keep going.
Go ahead.
Verse 25, it says, "It is drawn and it cometh out of the body." I was just talking about how they made a semi-trailer into a missile silo. So they could bring one of these over the border, say, "Oh yeah, we're bringing in fruit," and it could be a whole nuke in there.
That's a hell of a fruit. The cockatrice.
Yeah. The dragon fruit.
Yeah.
We're gonna rain fire on this place.
That's it.
But yeah, so we don't know exactly how it's gonna happen, but the Lord's gonna do some things to shake this place up.
Yes, sir.
All the pride of this. Hey, I'm sick of the pride of this country. I'm sick of the pride of the people here.
Yep.
Every day the righteous man is crying out for the Lord to do something, for the Lord to show his power. For the Lord to bring some humility into this place.
Yes, sir.
And the Lord's gonna do it.
Oh yeah. Because it says, well, when you go back to Genesis, it says that the Lord saw that the wickedness of man was exceeding great.
Mm-hmm.
So how much more now?
Man.
How much more wickedness is going on now than was going on back then?
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord eventually, closed the curtains on their ass.
Yep, exactly. Yep. It says, "It is drawn and it cometh out of the body. Yeah, the glittering sword cometh out of his gall. Terrors are upon him." Can you imagine how terrible it is? It's a sunny day outside, and then all of a sudden you think it's an earthquake here, and you look outside, and a mushroom cloud starts to blot out the sun, and it gets dark, and all you see is fire and ash.
Let's go.
That would scare the hell out of whole city.
Yep.
That would scare the hell out of people, man. But those are the things to come, man. The Lord is gonna bring some pain to this place. Hey, that golden cup. It's about to. This place is about to start taking a drink out of that cup.
Oh yeah.
This place is about to drink.
They're gonna be cooking it every day.
The judgment of the Lord, man. They're about to be drinking of that cup of wickedness, man. They're gonna receive for the things that they've done. The Lord is gonna bring some serious judgment. And we're in a time of serious judgment.
Yep.
The shaking of the hand of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, man, is upon this place.
It's just a matter of time.
Con. But that's pretty much it, man. Hey, that's pretty much it, man. The Lord is about to do something, man. Hey, we're on the edge of our seat. Like, what's gonna happen next?
Yep.
Because we've been prophesying for this long. We know the prophecies, and we know that they're happening at a faster than normal pace.
Yep.
We know that they're coming quickly.
Yes.
That everything is being set up for that great destruction of Babylon the Great, man.
Can't come fast enough.
Yeah, exactly. So, What mind are we to be in? The scriptures say we're supposed to be in all holy conversation and doctrine, man. Like we're supposed to be, lifting up the banner. We're supposed to be warning the people. We're not supposed to. The trumpet is not supposed to be making an uncertain sound right now. Go ahead.
2 Peter 3:10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise,
Yep.
and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works thereof that are therein shall be burnt up.
Yep. Hey, it's gonna come as a thief in the night. While you kissing your woman, some trouble gonna come. But while you sleeping, little folding other hands. while you sleeping, some trouble gonna come, man. And when that trouble comes, you can't say, "Oh, well, I wasn't warned." I wasn't. Nobody tell me that this was gonna happen. But hey, every day the prophets are speaking every day to warn the people, man. So when these judgments come, you might as well just take it. You might as well, because you can't say you wasn't warned. The scripture said time and chance happen to every man. So you can't say, well, I don't know what's going on. You didn't apply yourself to find out. But you know what? The offer was presented to you. Go ahead.
Verse 11, seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons are ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness? Hey,
you should, at this point, you should be able to see that America is not in a favorable place with all these other nations. These nations are looking at America in anger. Yep. So if you seeing, like, we're starting to see, like, we've been saying, like, this place is going to get hit by nuke. This place is going to be destroyed. So now you see the buildup of these nations turning their back on America. These nations looking at America like, you're the problem.
Yep. Everybody's seeing who the problem really is.
Yeah. So like, you should be able to put two and two together. And say, you know what? Hey, maybe what these guys are saying is right. Because you ain't learning that in the Christian church.
Oh, hell no.
You ain't learning that nowhere else but in Israel, but amongst our people. You ain't learning that nowhere else. Hey, the Muslims ain't teaching you that. The Buddhists ain't teaching you that. They don't have the answers. But the answers are written in this book.
Mm-hmm.
Is there more to that?
No, that was it.
All
right. So with that, we hope that you brothers and few sisters have been edified. Till the next time we say, Shalom. To the elect.